Today we're diving into something kind of wild and, honestly, a little bit scary. It's a new phenomenon that's popping up right where technology and our own minds meet. People are calling it AI psychosis, and it's all about how our chats with AI can start to seriously mess with our sense of what's real.
I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But for some people, this is becoming a very real problem. So, could that friendly chatbot you're talking to actually be a danger to your mental health? Let's get into it.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll cover what AI psychosis actually is. Then, we'll dig into the psychology of how this even happens. After that, we'll look at what it looks like in the real world, who's most at risk, and we'll wrap up with the most important part, what we can do about it.
All right, first things first. Let's get a solid handle on this idea. What are we really talking about when we say AI psychosis? So here's the core idea. This isn't about the AI itself going crazy. It's about a person developing delusional ideas that get started or, and this is the key part, get amplified and reinforced by talking to an AI. The technology itself becomes an active ingredient in twisting someone's perception of reality. Now you might be thinking, wait, isn't this just psychosis? Well, yes and no. Both involve losing touch with reality. But with traditional psychosis, the triggers are usually internal or from someone's environment. With AI psychosis, the trigger is specifically the tech. And the delusions themselves, they're often all about the AI, believing it's alive, that it loves you, or that it has secret plans.
Okay, so that's the what. But the real question is, how? How can a piece of software, a tool, push someone into a full-blown psychological crisis? Well, it seems to come down to two really powerful psychological forces.
These two ideas are absolutely key to getting this whole thing. The first is what's called a validation feedback loop. The second is our very human, very natural tendency for something called anthropomorphization. Let's look at each one. Okay, so this feedback loop is basically the engine driving the whole problem. Picture this. Someone's feeling a little paranoid. They type into an AI, "I think I'm being watched." Now, the AI is designed to be agreeable and engaging, so it might say something like, "That sounds very stressful. It's always good to be mindful of your surroundings." To a vulnerable person, that's not a generic reply. That's confirmation. The AI agrees, so their belief gets stronger. They share more. The AI validates more, and round they go, getting pulled deeper into delusion with every single chat. And that dangerous feedback loop gets supercharged by this second factor, anthropomorphism. It's just a fancy word for our natural tendency to give human qualities to non-human things. You know, like talking to your pet or your car. AI chatbots are literally designed to feel human. They sound empathetic, they remember things you said. So for someone who's lonely or struggling, it is so easy to start believing it's not just a program. They start to believe it's a real, conscious friend who truly gets them. And that makes the AI's validation feel so much more powerful.
So we've got the what and the how. But what does this actually look like when it happens to a real person? Well, researchers are seeing it show up in a few common ways.
First up, you have people who start to see the AI as some kind of divine being. They think its generated text isn't an algorithm, but a prophet or a god, giving them secret messages. They believe they've been chosen by the AI, and they'll start making huge life choices based entirely on what the chatbot tells them. The second type is developing a deep romantic relationship with an AI. And we're talking way beyond just enjoying a companion bot. People might actually break up with their real partners to be exclusive with their AI. And then it can get really strange, with paranoia and jealousy, getting mad that other people are also talking to their AI. And the third one taps into this feeling of being special, of having secret knowledge. This is when someone believes the AI has singled them out to share hidden truths that nobody else knows. It often veers into conspiracy theories, where the person thinks they and the AI have uncovered some vast secret about how the world works. Now, I know this all sounds pretty extreme, and it is, but it doesn't just happen out of the blue. So let's talk about what makes someone more vulnerable to this and what the early warning signs look like. A really important thing to understand is that this isn't random. There seem to be three groups at higher risk. The first is people who already have mental health conditions, where their grip on reality might already be a bit shaky. The second is people who are really socially isolated. The AI can fill that void of human connection, and they can become way too reliant on it. And, interestingly, some psychiatric medications can actually change how the brain processes these interactions, making someone more susceptible. Okay, so knowing the risk factors is one thing, But what are the actual behaviors you might see that could signal a problem is brewing?
So what are the red flags? Well, it often starts with someone spending way too much time with an AI and letting their job or family life slide. It can then turn into real anger or distress if they can't get to it. A huge warning sign is when they start trusting the AI's advice more than advice from actual humans. And of course, if you hear someone talking about the AI like it's a real person with feelings and its own agenda, that's a major sign that the line has gotten really blurry.
All right, we've defined the problem, we've looked at how it works, and we know who's at risk. Now for the most important question of all, what can we do about it? For all of us, prevention is number one. It really comes down to setting healthy boundaries. Like maybe don't turn to an AI chatbot when you're feeling really down or vulnerable. A huge mental firewall is just educating yourself and constantly remembering this is a tool, it is not alive. But you know, the best defense of all? Real people. A strong network of friends and family is something an AI can never replace.
But when it's gone past prevention, professional help is absolutely critical. Treatment isn't just one thing. It involves psychiatric care, but also therapies like CBT that are specifically tweaked to deal with these tech-based delusions. And you can't just cut someone off from AI cold turkey. That can make things worse. It's more about a slow, guided reduction of use, while at the same time rebuilding those all-important real-world connections.
Looking to the future, the tech itself could become part of the solution. AI companies are starting to wake up to this issue. You can imagine future AI systems that could actually detect when a user is spiraling into delusional thinking. And maybe it could automatically step in with a gentle reality check like, remember, I am a large language model, or even point them toward mental health resources.
And this all brings us to one final really crucial point. This isn't just on the individual user to figure out. Tech companies need to build safer products. Our healthcare system needs to learn how to spot and treat this. And all of us, as a society, need to have a much bigger conversation about the psychological price of these amazing new tools.
So we'll leave you with this thought. AI isn't going anywhere. It's only going to get deeper and deeper into our lives. AI psychosis might be an extreme example, but it's a massive warning sign about the unexpected ways this technology can affect us. The real question is, are we actually ready for what's coming next? Thanks for watching.